I've started a Windows Form application and I have drug a label over here. I did rename the label, as you see here, to Label Change. So let's discuss changing a property at design time. That simply means that I'm coming to the Properties window. I believe I will change the text property, and I'll make that say hello. Okay, so now you will see that at design type, the text property of the label is hello. I'm going to go ahead and change the for color property also. So let's make that a green color. Okay. So as you see, changing at design time, which I believe you have an understanding of, is simply coming over to the Properties window. Let's go ahead and I'm going to add a button so that I have a click event. And okay, so I've modified some of the properties of the button. You see here that the text property says change property. I've also changed the name of the button to button change. I'm going to double click on that, and that's going to create the event handler for this button. Okay, so button change click event handler. What I'd like to do is when this button is clicked, I'm going to access this object called label change, and I use the dot operator. And do you see this drop down list? All these wrenches are the properties. These wrench icons represent properties of a label. And so I'm going to scroll down to the text property. It's probably easier if you just type T because it will match it. I'm going to scroll down and select the text property. So the left-hand side of an assignment statement will have the object name, a dot, and the property name. Now, the operation that means an assignment statement is equal to. So you might think of it as label change.text is equal to. Okay, so text is a string. We haven't talked too much about strings, but strings will go in quotes. So I'm going to change it to goodbye. Okay, so that is the instruction to change the property at runtime. Now, if I return to design time, you will see it still says hello. It is not going to modify until that statement is executed. So I thought I did set the for color property. Okay, so there is the for color property, and I'm going to do equal to color dot, and let's change it to blue violet. Okay, so we haven't talked about enumerations yet, but the same idea. Notice here's the object name, dot, here's the property name. So these are the instructions that will change. The two properties I had set at design time are now going to be changed at runtime. As you can see, it's still green. It's not blue violet yet. So let's go ahead and run this and see how this works. Okay, here's my application. It's executing. As you see, it says hello, and it's in the green. This is what we set at design time. It's not until the instructions are executed that the properties will change. So let's go ahead and execute those instructions by clicking on the event handler, by clicking on the button, which will trigger the event handler to execute those instructions. And there you have it. So now at runtime, those instructions were modified. So I'm back. I've closed the application. It's no longer running. And here we go. It still says what's the properties at design time. Every time I'm going to restart this program, it goes back to the design time properties.